When I popped off, then your girl gave me just a little bit of la.
Okay, so I hope you're doing well, and today I just want to talk about 10 tips that will make you better at Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I'm not really going to go too in-depth with all these tips, but if there is a specific tip in here you guys want me to make a in-depth guide on, and then let me know, because I will be more than happy to make that for you. So without further ado, let's just jump into the 10 tips. Okay, so coming up first we have Crosshair Placement. Now, Crosshair Placement is really important because, well, the simple answer is that it just makes you faster at getting the kill, right? So by already pre-aiming a specific spot and maintaining your crosshair at a certain elevation, so make sure you're always at the head height. Bearing in mind, some people can be crouching, so that's for you. You need to be able to know if someone's going to be crouching or whatever, but you need to make sure your crosshair placement is head level, crouching or standing up. I know it's hard to learn, and then as you're coming around the corner, you need to have your crosshair also come around the corner with you, so you have the first shot on your enemy and they have less time to react to you killing them. Because so there's reactive aiming, which is when you just walk around the corner, you see an enemy, you react to it just by trying to flick to them. Whereas having active aiming is where you have your crosshair move around the corner with you. So you, the second you see them, that's when you start shooting. So make sure you do this in your games. Obviously I'm not going to go too in depth, I'm just going to explain what it is. So make sure to learn your crosshair placement, like I said, if you want me to go in depth, and then let me know in the comments down below. Also, just remember with the crosshair placements, just make sure you have a big desk, a big mouse mat. You can move your mouse around. It all depends on your sensitivity as well. If your sensitivity is low, then you're obviously going to need a big mouse mat, right? So yeah. So coming in on the next tip, we have sensitivity. Now, sensitivity is really important because, it just all comes down to your aim at the end of the day in Rainbow Six Siege. And there's not really any trick to getting the perfect sense. Don't go on YouTube and search up some pro settings and copy their sense, because you're not going to get any good just by putting in a random sense that you're not used to. The only thing I can recommend is go into a custom game, go into house, go to the garage, melee 2 holes in the wall either side, and then go through all your settings, your sense, and just keep going up and up and up, and then just keep flicking between the 2 holes, and then just find where it feels comfortable, where it gets too fast, and then put your sense down. If it's too slow, put it up, and then you just need to find your most comfortable sensitivity. Finding the perfect sense will obviously allow you to be better in gunfights, which could lead to a win. For our third tip, we have warming up in terrace hunt with purpose. So you do not want to go into terrace hunt like a headless chicken, just running around shooting whatever, and then you have a bomber come around the corner and you're like, oh snap, creeper, oh man. You need to go into terrace hunt with the mindset that you're going to practice a specific thing. So crosshair placement if you're not good at that, and then make sure you go into terrace hunt, have in your mind, okay, so this game I need to practice my crosshair placement. So you go in, you're peeking around every corner, you're moving your mouse with you, you're going around the wall, really, really important. Kind of just learn this thing. Obviously it all comes natural when you just play your games, but yeah, make sure you go into terrace hunt and you warm up with purpose. Don't run in, go crazy. Go in, think, okay, today I want to practice my flicking. So you go in, you find terrorist, and you aim somewhere else, and you just try and flick to their head and shoot them. So yeah, make sure you go into terrorist hunt with a purpose, not just running around. And which leads on to my next tip, which is flicking. So, like I said, you can do terrorist hunt, but the way I like to practice my flicking is go into a custom game, set it to house, 10 minutes, go down to the garage outside, melee 2 holes in the wall, and then you aim at one hole, and then you try and flick to the other. Also, it does help if you put your weapon to single fire, so you can just one tap. So you look at one hole, you flick to the other and shoot, and obviously you're going to know if you miss, because the bullet will not go through the hole, or actually go on the garage door. So, you can just keep practicing this. Practice makes perfect, right? So yeah, flicking is really important in Rainbow, because if you're aiming somewhere with your crosshair placement and then enemy pops up somewhere else, it's important that you are able to flick to them and in a game like Rainbow, flicking is really important. Okay, so coming into our 5th tip, we have positioning. So positioning is really important in Rainbow Six Siege. Like with any game, CSGO, positioning is really important. Now the reason positioning is important is because obviously the longer you're alive, the more chance you're going to have to kill them and the more pressure you're going to have on them. So if you make stupid positioning and then that's an easy kill for your enemies, you need to be able to know how to position yourself right. If you want me to do an in-depth guide on how to position yourself right, and then make sure to let me know. But positioning is just, really important because the longer you're alive. But another reason positioning is important is because you want to counter the enemy's strategy. So if you know a Hibana is opening a hatch, you're going to want to change your position so the enemies don't get an easy shot on you, and it causes them to have to jump through the hatch, and that leads you to getting the easy kill. So yeah, positioning is really important, so make sure you learn that. Okay, coming into our next tip, we have droning late game. I've been into so many games where there's like 40 seconds left, they don't know where the enemies are, and they're still sitting there with a drone. Like, you can get easy intel, but they just don't want a drone. You have dead teammates, you can put a drone out, have your teammates watch it, that's intel. Like, if you can't see anyone, you can rely on sound, right, and then give a call out. So yeah, droning late game is really important. Make sure you do it, please, please, please. If you're in a 2v2, 40 seconds left, you don't know where the enemies are, you do have a drone, please just use it. It gives away their position. You don't scan, or you could scan, but give a call out. And then they're going to realise, oh snap, my position has been given away, I'm going to have to reposition. And then if you're quick enough, you can kill them before they reposition. But then if they do reposition, which they're most likely going to do, and then their previous position is now free to enter, and just so on. It's just intel. Rainbow Six Siege, really important game in terms of intel, so make sure you join the late game. Coming in onto my next tip, I have operators synergy plus operators for certain objectives. So what I mean by this, for these certain objectives, is such as like Chalet Garage. It's important that you have like a Thatcher, a Thermite, Capital, to open it. If you know they're going Garage and you have like a Montaigne and Ash, Zofia, a Capital, and I don't know, whatever Blitz, that's just no good, is it? You make sure hard breaching is really good or important, so make sure you have hard breacher anywhere really. But for certain objectives, so for Chalet, let's say Chalet again, they're going kitchen. Although hard breaching isn't really important, but it would be good to bring to the table still, but it's not the worst if you don't. So for things like Chalet, where it only really relies on like soft breaching, not really. Obviously you're going to need a Hibana for the hatch, kitchen hatch, and then you can have a Buck for the vertical gameplay. Now the vertical gameplay isn't really that important for Chalet Garage, so you need to know which operators are better for different objectives. Obviously for maps like Skyscraper, Blackbeard is really good, whereas Blackbeard wouldn't be good on a map like Chalet. So it's important you learn which operators are good for which objectives / maps. And then what I mean by operator synergy is which 2 or 3, or just 2 operators work well together. So obviously you have the obvious, which is Patcher Thermite. Obviously you have the Patcher to take out the bandit charges, Kai charges, mute jammers, all that. And then you have a Thermite to open it. They just work well, like just peanut butter and jam. Is that the same? I don't know. But obviously you want to kind of learn other combos. There's a combo where you can have IQ and Dokkaebi. So IQ's ability can help. You have IQ with the hacker device you see through the walls. Dokkaebi, you call them, they're going to have to bring out their phone, which is an electronic device. A phone is an electronic device, wow. We all know this. IQ can look through her electronic device scanner and can actually shoot the enemies through the floor. So that is really important. Well, it's not too important, but it's just something nice to learn, and it could work in some situations. So it's nice to know which operators work well together and which operators work for certain objectives. Okay, so coming in for my next tip, I have watching Pro League. Now this may seem like a weird tip to you, but honestly I watch Rainbow Pro League. Now you might just watch it anyway, but if you're wanting to get better, you can watch Pro League. Now you might not think it will help you, but if you actually watch, see what the team does, because you know they can sometimes do like certain tricks that you don't really know. You can see like a certain strat they do for a certain objective. Like if you're always playing border and you realise, oh snap man, I cannot take control of armory. Like you struggle every time taking control of it. You watch a Pro League match and you see they're playing border, and then you can think, oh, let's see how G2 take control of armory. And then I can put that into my gameplay. Like you see where this is going, like watching Pro League, you can see how they do stuff, put it into your game, and ta-da, it all works well. So yeah, just watch some Pro League, see how the pros do it, put it in your gameplay, easy. Okay, before we go on to my last tip, I just want to quickly give a bonus tip. So I want you to go onto R6 Tracker, go to your account, go to your operators, and when you see the KD thing, you want to click on that, see what is your highest KD operator, and I want you to play them. In your next game, make that the only person you play. Obviously, you don't want to do this if you have like 10 minutes on them and you just, oh, you got an ace first round and that's the last you've ever touched them. And then you have 5 KD, like, no. Make sure you have at least like, I don't know, 6 hours on them or more. If you have a high KD, like if you see you have a Zofia, like me, my Zofia KD I think is like 1.6 on attack or 1.7 on attack. And my Ash is like 1.5 or 1.4. And I enjoy playing Ash. But the second I realised my Zofia had a higher KD, I started playing Zofia non-stop and I have been flying through the ranks. Obviously for defense, make sure you do this as well, but that's just a bonus tip. I want you to go to a tracker website, see which is your highest KD operator, and I just want you to play them. It can help. There's no point playing someone you really enjoy but your KD on them is really bad. Okay, so for the final tip is map knowledge. Now, well, map knowledge and game mechanics. In a game like Rainbow, where you can destroy walls, you know, you can change the environment to your advantage, it is really important you are like insane with map knowledge. Now you see here in the gameplay, I'm going to show some examples on Clubhouse. You know, what if you get a call out that one's here or one's there, and then you need to know in your head, oh, if I break the floor here, I know that I'm going to now have an angle on that door. That's really important for like high level gameplay if you want to go up. Because if you are good with map knowledge and being able to create strategies, or you have like a floor open somewhere, or you have a wall open somewhere where you can get an angle, if you are really good with that stuff, this is better than having good aim. A person with good game sense, good map knowledge, and good strategies will beat someone that has good aim, because they're not going to expect it, right? It's a new strike, you've made it up. You now know like, oh, this, if I break this open, it's going to lead to there. You can just catch people off guard. They're not going to expect it. Like, in a game like Rainbow where you can destroy walls, it's really important that you use that to your full potential in like a defense round or an attack round. Like on here, I'm playing Buck, I destroyed the floor by the stairs, and now I have an angle on the door if they rotate through the church room, or you know, whatever. Stuff like this is just really important. So I want you to go into all your custom games, map knowledge, maybe watch some Coconut Bar, you know, get some strategies for certain objectives. And I just want you to learn map knowledge. It's really, really important. Okay, so that's it for my tips. Like I said, if you want me to make an in-depth guide on any of these tips I've covered, and then let me know down below. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day. No, that's my intro. I hope you all had a wonderful day. And goodbye.